All right, guys, welcome back to the Behind the Food podcast. I'm here with my co-host Daniel,
What's up?
and our guest today, Shannon Sanders. Um, I am really, really excited for this one. Shannon, when you originally, like, you were in a comment thread on one of my LinkedIn posts, I was like, I don't know what Shannon does because on your LinkedIn, it didn't necessarily show like what
Yeah,
you're currently working on.
yeah,
Um, and then I was super pumped to find out that you have a coffee company.
yeah,
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So I guess tell the audience about the company and like how you guys got started.
yeah. So I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, I have to thank Dakota for considering me on that post you had. So I mean, guys, we make flash chill coffee. I love to show you. Um, my
Oh, I love
granddad
when
moved
people
over
bring
to
it.
Oakland. My granddad moved over to Ghana from Oakland, opened up a coffee shop. It's called Cape Coast Coffee House. It's in Cape Coast, Ghana. He's always been a coffee fan and he loved the beans so much so I asked him to let me try them. He sent them over and then I put them in a can. So the first flavor we dropped was our coffee from Ghana. Um, and then from there we've added more flavors. This is one from Mexico. And then most recently this year we got into a decaf. So folks that don't drink caffeine can also enjoy our brand as well.
Nice. Very cool.
Dude, I love that branding.
It's
That is really,
fantastic.
really
Appreciate
cool.
it. Appreciate it.
So what was like the initial, obviously like that's where like the story came from, but like what was your initial like push into being like, okay, I'm gonna can some coffee and like go try to sell it? Like it's a big leap for a lot of people. Like what was
Yeah.
the thing that like pushed you over the edge?
It was wanted to share something with my granddad. I think just like anyone else that had the honor of having grandparents, he was somebody that I've grown and known my whole life. We talked on the phone, and when he moved there, he said, "I want to see this on Amazon one day. I want to be able to share this Ghanaian coffee in the states." So I was committed to doing it where there was going to be in bags, but the bag space, especially locally here in Nashville, is super competitive these days. And I thought one awesome way to differentiate would be put it in a can. And that's just what we went with. It's been times that I thought about getting in the bags, but the cans have just been received so well. I just decided to stay there.
Nice.
Were you like a drinker of like flash canned coffee before? Like before you started this?
Mm-mm.
Really? That's interesting.
It was just, yeah, when you're set off on a journey, you're just committed to that
Right.
and everything that just comes along the way. It's just one of those stepping stones that just happened to us bringing this coffee to market. Um, and it's been awesome. It's been great. But before that, I mean, I did drink black coffee, so I wasn't a huge latte drinker
hmm
or flavored coffee drinker per se, but I was like a good drip. So it worked out.
Right. So kind of the way you're approaching the coffee from what I'm seeing is you're doing almost of a like a single origin approach for these flash chilled coffees, right? Um are you going down to like the farm level? Like what's the level of specificity you're going with this? Like on the is it like per run that you're going with a specific farm? Like how's that working?
So specifically with the Ghana one, Ghana's only been on the coffee map since the 30s, so it's
Yeah.
still pretty new. So with that particular origin, I do work with the same supplier that my granddad uses. That's in the
Wow.
Volta region of Ghana. And
That's
then
really
with the other
cool.
two flavors, we do work down to the farm level. We try to do direct trade,
Yeah.
not only for us and knowing where it's coming from, but also it really does help the folks that are boots on ground, growing these things, drying them, processing them, to send them over to us.
So I'm somewhat familiar with coffee because I'm Colombian, grew up around it. I've had coffee since I was about 2 years old, you know. So I have lots of questions in this space. One of them was how did you go from, okay, we're going to, first maybe we do a bag on a shelf, right? To we want a flash chilled, borderline shelf stable product. What was the like what other iterations did you consider to get to that point? What other form factors that would fit in the CPG space?
Just those two.
Really? So you didn't even so
Yeah.
you like kind of hit it on the first one, really. Like just kind of one and two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the thing that inspired you to go with the can?
Yeah.
Like, were you, like you said, you didn't drink the canned coffee before. Like
Right.
that
It
wasn't
seems
your
like a
thing.
big leap.
I'm assuming it's
Yeah.
your thing now.
Oh yes,
But
I think I was going to. If you don't mind, I'd drink one of these right now.
Absolutely.
Um,
please do. I wish I had one. Now,
Same.
I'm like, I really need
hey,
some coffee.
I look. I will send you some. Daniel, are you in Nashville?
I am in Nashville. Yeah.
I'll get
Yeah,
you
you
some.
guys
I
need to
actually
meet
got.
up.
Yeah.
I got
Definitely.
more cans coming. This Thursday, so I'll
Nice.
get a fresh batch to you Thursday, and I can send you some as
Beautiful.
well.
Dude, you
Um,
guys should collab on a coffee from Colombia.
Absolutely.
yeah,
That would
yeah,
be
we could do that.
cool.
Um,
But yeah, how did it happen? I guess is like our question.
I don't want to sound cliche when I say this, but we just did it.
Yeah.
Love that.
It just did it. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, bags, it's tough, but it's really just in line. I'm sure these things work with you all's products as well.
Yep.
The beans arrive unroasted. They have to be roasted.
Right.
Once they're roasted, I could put them in a bag or I could put them in a can.
Hmm.
And just decide to go with the can. It just works. We were able to
So
find
like,
somebody.
well, yeah, that was the second question. Like when you got you guys got the beans, you had the product, your grandfather had been doing it. How did you find the people to put it in a can?
So they're like micro distilleries and like micro roasters that do it. There's some folks that do it locally, but most breweries can put coffee in a can. Typically the process is pretty much the same.
And what brewing method are you using for the coffee? Is this like a cold brew? Is this like a pour over? What is this?
Flash chilled. So
Okay.
it's brewed like a fresh pot,
Hmm.
and it's immediately sent through chillers. So you pretty much get the best cup of drip you can, ready to
Nice.
drink, on the first crack. And then of course it got some nitro in it.
Gotcha. Oh, so it is a nitro coffee.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. Very cool. And
It
do
is
you
a-
have any like flavorings? Like I know there's like coffee sodas are really popular right now. You're seeing like, orange coffee soda flavors, things like that, or is that on the roadmap in the future?
Maybe. Um it's really just coffee and water. I mean,
I
now
love that.
the one I'm drinking now does include vanilla bean and cocoa powder.
Okay.
But I mean, you should be able to just do what you want with the coffee.
Yeah.
Right? If you go get a 4-pack of club soda and make one at home, throw it in your tumbler. I want to be able to, for right now, keep it
Mhm.
open enough for allow people to enjoy how they want.
Nice, nice. So you are working with micro distilleries to get this into cans, right? And
Yep.
then what is your distribution path right now? Are you in stores on shelves? Are you in like specialty grocer? Like where's this product at right now?
Yeah, we're in some stores locally. We're
Hmm.
working on getting more and more shelves. One of the things that I just finalized too was we've had the Amazon listing up for about 6 months. So I just got the brand store up. So we've got a brand store on Amazon. In addition to that, and of course, we're using the website, and also wholesale sites, Fair, Air Goods. One of the things that was really cool and important to me was just going back to my granddad's dreams. It was just sharing the coffee.
Yeah.
Nashville is home, but I want people in every state outside of here to enjoy what we're doing, and I want to set up those channels to reflect that.
Definitely. So if you had to guess, like between your, direct to consumer business, right, which is your Amazon, your own website, et cetera, and the specialty grocer wholesale, what's the mix of sales? Like, is it mostly DTC through your Amazon and your own site? Is it mostly on the shelf in the local specialty retailer?
I go 65-35.
Okay.
The stores and co-working spaces and things were really instrumental in helping us get some early eyes and traction. While we really got the design right, and we're able to put some time in to build those channels so we can ship out online.
You talked about getting the design right. Who did the labels? Because like I said, like that branding's awesome.
Yeah, sick.
So I worked across a few designers. I think one thing that was important to me was just really plainly telling people what it is. And it's coffee from Mexico. I just wanted this to be at the forefront. But I mean, everything else is just part of the course and what needs to be on the label for it to be on shelves. But worked across a few different designers, and one of the things too, not to ramble, is just it's really been an opportunity to just allow me to be creative and step out of my comfort zone too. And I think we all grew up and as kids we draw, we write, we sing, we like to play, and this coffee has really allowed me to kind of tap into that and just my creative bag.
Nice, nice. So when you get from, say, original design, you're now in a can, and now you're starting to sell it through different channels. What's your like long-term vision? Do you want this to be like a big national brand that's on Target and Costco and Walmart shelves, or do you want it to be more targeted towards, specialty coffee shops and specialty retailers? Like, where do you see this going? Like, what's your long-term vision for this?
I definitely see it specialty right now, and I only say that because um, it's been the creatives that have been really instrumental in helping. It's been studios and artists.
Interesting.
It's been the art galleries. It's been co-working spaces. So it's been those spaces that are largely creative and not
Mhm.
so much retail heavy, where they've really taken the gamble to bring the cans on and offer them as member benefits instead of
Interesting.
upselling to be $4 or $5 at a POS.
So you're pretty tied into the music business then in a way, right? Because I mean, we're talking a lot of like you said, studio spaces and things like that. Did you have previous experience in the music business before that? Like, did you have connections in that space that allowed you to like use that as a distribution channel?
Yeah, so my name is Shannon Sanders Jr., but my dad is Shannon Sanders, and he's a musician here on the scene and has done so for he had the
Yeah.
first rap album on the radio in the '80s a long time ago. So he's
Nice,
over at
nice.
BMI now. So, but he's someone where coffee kept him up late at night in the studio.
Mhm.
It wasn't Monster or Celsius back then. I mean, it was just a good cup of coffee.
That's really interesting. So really this story is kind of like a multi-generational family story in a way. Like it's your granddad making the coffee, it's your dad in the business, in the music business, helping provide some like distribution channels and connections, and then you producing the product and creating the brand and kind of telling the brand story, right?
I'm actually fourth generation. My
Okay.
granddad's dad was a framer in Oakland. And before he opened up his gallery, he used to go to a place called Pete's Coffee. And a lot of his early clients that he worked with at the coffee shop were then migrated over to his gallery. So I'm actually the fourth generation coffee drinker where we just use it as a vehicle to be creative. I mean,
That's super cool. Yeah, so your whole family is really like super creative, and the coffee is just an extension of that, really, in some way.
it has been. And that's what I was saying. It's allowed me to tap into opportunities to learn more about my family and also tap into my creative bug as well.
Yeah, that's super unusual because most of the people that go into the CPG space, you're talking like, you know, founders that are trying to get into several hundred doors. They're raising a big Series A. They've got a very different story. Yours is more like uh, a kind of a bottom up brand, I guess, right? Like it's about
Yeah,
a
and it's
story.
organic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
something that like comes about organically always works super well. Something I was gonna
Absolutely.
just about what you had been saying, like the channels that work well for your brand are always going to be weird. Like it's never going to be like I launched my brand at Whole Foods and then we went did the
Hmm.
whatever. That never happens, not in real life. Like usually you find this like weird niche and like that weird niche vibes for like your product. For us it was DoorDash, which is super random and ironic. They actually reached out to me. Never even sought them out. It just was something that like happened. Um which I think things in general seem to happen for a reason. If you're out there like doing your thing, eventually you
Hmm.
attract the right place. It
Hmm.
sounds like getting it in front of the people who could also like break the culture because coffee is very undifferentiated. It is just coffee. Not a lot of people know the difference. I'm
Yep.
sure you guys both do, but like a lot of people they're just like I want like good coffee, and if you can get it in front of the right influencers or the right spaces, that makes sense, man. Like you get it in the right co-working space, the right studio with the right artist, like then suddenly people are drinking it and they see that person drinking it and they're like, oh, this is awesome. And like
Right.
maybe that's how you build a brand.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. For me, that kind of like unusual sales channel or distribution path was bars and wholesale concessions. I was selling frozen wholesale empanadas into the bar space and into the concession space. If you had told me when I started a food truck in 2018, oh, this is going to be a food service brand that sells into bars, coffee shops, and concessions, I was like, what? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense, you know? So yeah, finding
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
right like channel product fit is like super important. Um, so how old is the brand now? Like how long have you been doing this?
A year and a half.
Okay, so pretty young
And
yet.
but you said something interesting. It's it's just why not? Like, why does it have to, like, why do I have to be Starbucks? I don't want to be.
Right.
I mean, that's not, it's not it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't need to be, I don't, I don't have a plan for where I want it in 3 years yet.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable there
Right.
because what has helped is just keeping inventory and sharing the story.
Yeah.
Just like you said, I mean, bars were super, super influential. I mean, one of the things that helped me get going brand awareness wise was I wasn't going to coffee shop to do activations. They had plenty of coffee. Instead, I was doing pop-ups and doing coffee cocktails.
Oh,
So
that's genius.
I'm gonna tell you all here that later this year I'll have canned coffee cocktails. I'll be coming out with 2 or 3 flavors.
That is
And
sick.
that's what helped because you hear in the studios, everybody likes coffee. People like espresso martinis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They may not wake up in the morning and make it to the coffee shop, but they'll have a can. They'll go grab it out of their bag for studio session.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing is you're developing a really deep awareness of who your customer is at the same time. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he's listening to customer feedback. Like, dude, I mean, when you do those activations, I tell people all the time, like, people like Daniel, or like even people like you who are out there like actually hustling, but people like Daniel who have a frontline business on accident, or
Yeah.
like us at No Baked, like you go there, you serve the customer, they give you immediate feedback, you know what they like, you know if they hated
Right.
it, you can see it on their face, right? Like you do activation at a bar, you're pouring coffee, they're gonna say like that was shit, or they're gonna tell you it was good, or they're gonna
Yeah.
be like, hey, why don't you just like put this all in the pan? And like listening to that feedback matters so much. So many founders and so many people in the consumer package space are like, yeah, I think I know what my customer wants. I'm going to build this brand, build this product, invest all this money. And it turns out, and I've seen this time and time again, and I haven't even been doing this that long. The people build something that absolutely nobody wants. Or they make a product where it's like you're selling it in the wrong spot, but they don't listen. They don't
Right.
like take the time to go out and like do the things. And it turns out
Right.
like best brands or the most successful people in the space are usually people that are listening to like the customer, because like so often people are like, I think I know what like people want, and it's like, but people don't want that yet. And that and granted that happens to like creatives sometimes too, where it's like I
Yeah.
made the album, or I wrote the book, or I did the thing, or I made the product, and everyone sat there and was like, dude, way too early. Like
Right.
no, nobody
Right.
wants this right now. So I
Right.
have respect for that, but at the same time, I think if you like keep your ears open and you're the type of person that wants to reflect people's like feelings and desires back to them, then you're gonna make a brand that's like slightly reflective. Like
Yeah.
good entrepreneurs do that.
Yeah.
I think
So Shannon, I feel like so you're not doing this full time yet. What is your full time job? Or are you
Right
doing
now,
this full time?
yeah. I mean, right now I work in the startup space.
okay. That's really interesting.
But and have I mean that's one thing I've done. I worked in the tech space after graduating.
Mhm.
But I mean I've been working behind the scenes on this coffee thing since COVID. Just he moved over there during COVID. He sent the beans. It's been a process just to arrive where we have arrived.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for like eventually like transitioning to being full time, or do you want it to be a side hustle? Because like that's something I'm super interested in. I think a lot of people that have the ability, like a lot of people have ideas like you did, they just don't do them.
Yeah.
But like you're saying like, yo, you've been working a job, you're doing other things, you're still able to get this thing off the ground with killer branding and like a cool story. So like
Yeah.
what's the like long-term plan, but also like what were the things that you did to be able to actually like do it on the side and like make both work and like balance it?
I mean, you said it best. I mean, not trying to go out and be something that I'm not, and I probably wasn't gonna be. Um, Being able to bootstrap and dump my resources into the brand have allowed me to move at a pace that was comfortable,
Mhm.
which is which ironically has been faster than I thought. I mean, I didn't know a can was going to be received so well, and it did, and we've been busy. It's just about keeping up. I mean, I think a long term plan. I think as we continue to get more shelves, it'll be time to potentially look at transitioning. But I'd like to continue to work as long as I can and continue to build it the way I want
Yeah,
at my pace.
yeah, you're doing a lot of things right, which is really cool. Like a lot of founders, they kind of have this playbook of, you write the pitch deck, you go and you go to a bunch of VCs, you get a big check, and then you know, have an idea for a product, and then you go and find a co-packer. And like there's kind of this established path, but a lot of times it really doesn't work that well because you haven't built anything yet, right? And I think you're doing it right, which is build it slow and not predictably, but consistently and in a sustainable way,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, but it's not software. I mean, with software, you build a couple things in Figma, and you can walk through how it's going to work beginning to end. I mean, it's
Right.
coffee. It has to taste good, and it's I need
Yeah.
whether I sell it or not. Even stores that I'm going to sell into, they're going to ask for samples. They're going to. So it's just one of those things where it's just a part of who I am now. It's just I always have coffee,
Yeah.
always willing to share. No need to pay for it necessarily. I want people to enjoy the coffee, provide feedback, and use it in multiple ways. Try it with a spirit. Try it with oat milk. Try it with dairy. Try it straight. Let's try it out.
Yeah. So you,
That's
you
really
mentioned you mentioned bootstrapping. So as of right now, I'm guessing it's all your personal money, right? You haven't raised yet, right? And is there equity split between you and your granddad? How does that work?
No, I mean he really went over there and he's opened his coffee
He's done
shop.
his own
So
thing. Yep.
yeah, so when I buy beans, I
Yeah.
like to make sure that he has some.
Yep.
But I mean he's been over there operating, running that shop. He still does. He'll be back in July, but he's over there. I mean he's got a daughter over there too. He's married, so
So
that's what he
cool.
does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's super cool, man. So you mentioned like you're in the tech space, like it's kind of what you've done as a full-time thing since you like graduated college. Are there any like lessons from that you were able to like pull through from like your full-time job to like what you do with the coffee brand? And like what were those lessons?
You move fast to fail fast, or move fast to succeed and kind of move on. I mean, at the end of the day, in the software space, you want people to sign up and use the software. And with our products, the fastest way to get somebody to enjoy it is by getting it finalized, get it complete. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily in the final form, but you've got to be able to put something in front of people fast. And it doesn't need to take a whole bunch of time either.
You're kind of describing like what we would call in the tech space, like minimum viable product, right? Like,
Got to have MVP. Yeah.
right, right. And for you, what was that in the coffee space? Was that like an unbranded can, like that you could go and like have people start tasting? Like, what did that look like?
It was a can that was so ugly.
Nice.
It was so ugly. And Fred was just like, the coffee's good. I'm just
Right.
not, I had a friend tell me that, but also it was a retailer. So shout out to Rhonda at one shop in Nashville. She just said,
Nice.
I want to support, it just doesn't shelf it.
Yeah.
And so your customers then you were listening to and kind of developing that feedback loop weren't just like your consumers, they were also like the retail partners at that point. And you were listening to them and already like iterating on the brand and what it was going to look like at that point.
When she said it did not shelf well, I was already thinking through the second label. The second label was even worse. So this is the third iteration of the label.
Yeah.
And then actually tomorrow, all of them will look this way. So you'll see just making the bar smaller,
Mm-hmm.
adding the roast level,
Mm-hmm.
just changing some of the things design wise.
I
But
honestly
it's
think,
just
man, like when you do stuff like that and like when you like focus in on the design and you get really, really meticulous, it's like those are the things you technically get paid for. A lot of people won't like look in and like focus on that stuff. But the interesting part is like you were able to carry forward something that like when I started No Baked, for instance, I did on accident because we were super broke. Like Megan and I graduated college like a year before. When we got up and running, like obviously it's bootstrapped. Everyone knows the thing. You got to like get the product. That's just all your money. And now you got to
Yeah.
like sell it. And the difference for us at the time was we were making it. So like we'd go to Citizen's Kitchen, and I was telling Daniel this the other day. I made like an hour budget in Citizen's Kitchen, which he was like, dude, it's like $12 an hour or something. I was like, yeah, but we were broke. We would make the cookie dough there, and I would take it back to my apartment to package. And then instead of getting like a PET plastic jar like it is today, like a nice, beautiful like pint jar like Talenti, it was like a paper cup with like a lid and like shitty sticker for like branding. And I was like, oh yeah, well this is good enough because we got to like make this shit roll. Like we got to make money. And what I didn't know I was doing at the time is like what you kind of just described, which is like you go out with this thing that's like, yeah, the food is in there, right? It's like inside the container. The container's trash. Like, what's going we're doing here? Then you move on from like trash container to like, okay, well, people just told me like this is kind of weird, and I should switch.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's like that second iteration sometimes is like really flimsy because you're like shooting for it, but not. And then you finally get to a place where it's good, and then you start to get meticulous about the label, and then things get good. The funny thing though is, Shannon, like I did that on accident, and I think some people do when they're like bootstrapping specifically people do because like you can't just like blow money on design. But then on the back end you have a lot of people who do what Daniel described, which is like raise first for product, maybe not pre-revenue, but like sometimes pre-revenue. Maybe they've got like friends, family, like influencers, they like wrap something up, or a lot of CPG brands are just like influencer backed. They never ever have an MVP. And it sends people down a goofy ass path where it's like, dude, you don't end up with like your labels. I'm gonna keep shouting it to the moon. I'm gonna talk about it on episodes after this. I'm gonna drink his coffee on the next 10 episodes with the can out because it's so cool. Like it is really good branding, dude.
I appreciate
but you arrive at that stuff from like thinking, like not just being like, oh, I think I know exactly what this should be, and then you spend $10,000 getting like something developed that's like trash and no one wants it. Yeah, dude, I have mad respect for that because I think that's the path that you have to go.
Yeah, I mean, look at like I think like a brand that's awesome is Minor Figures. Have you heard of that brand? It just looks good. It doesn't look like retail oat milk. It looks like cool oat milk. I want it to look like coffee. Doesn't have to be in a jar or it have to be in a. It doesn't. It can be awesome. It could also just look cool in the refrigerator next to the other things you get that look cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Friend of mine, sorry, real quick. Friend of mine, the singer, he was like, it just felt like the cans of modeling sometimes. Like it's got presence. Like that. like that's cool.
Let's go. Yeah.
It's like
I
nice.
love that. Yeah. That is great. So I was curious about like run size and like distribution and like warehousing. Like you've got like micro distillers that are making this product they're partnering with, right? And then how many cans are they doing per run? Is it like 1,000? Are they like what does micro mean in this case? Like to me, that's like it means a lot of things when you're working with a manufacturing partner. Like for us, at some point we like Jimmy and I, we were manufacturing our own product in a shared kitchen, right? And then later Jimmy moved into the co-packing world, right? And then kind of brought it back in. So like what does that mean for you? Like what is a run size with one of these smaller partners look like?
At the time, I went through the entire cupping process, but I mean my first run I did 600 cans.
Okay. Gotcha. So sub 1,000.
600 cans.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then now, every time we go back to the drawing boards, we just try to add cases, and eventually, I've gotten to the point where I know where I need to be inventory wise to get the economics low enough so we can attack local regional grocers when it's time. So it's coming up soon.
Right. Do you have to store these in like a refrigerated warehouse, or is this like shelf stable? Yeah, at the
I
refrigerator.
do.
Yep. Hmm.
I do. I mean, just I like to just load inventory and just keep them in the refrigerator.
Hmm.
And then I
What
have
happens if it gets hot? Like, what happens when it gets hot? Again,
nothing. I mean, it's just the two ingredients. I mean, I wouldn't say let it sit out in the sun all day,
Right.
but
I want to know what happens. That's
I haven't
that's
tried
all
it.
I'm saying. I just want to find out.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll say transparently, I haven't had coffee sitting around longer than a year, and I haven't had it like in a hot space. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
highest it probably is just when it goes to USPS to a doorstep in between.
Gotcha.
Does
So you
it
keep it
technically have? Does it have a shelf life?
We've tested out to 18 months,
Okay.
nice.
but I mean, it's just coffee and water. You
Yeah.
know, we do
Yeah.
the process of sending it out to the folks at the lab to make sure we got a panel of what's in it, and
So
Yeah.
you keep it chilled as a preference, but in terms of shelf stability, it doesn't necessarily like have to be, but it helps preserve the
Mhm.
quality essentially.
I'm
Gotcha.
always super curious about that because there's this cold brew brand that I buy. It's in like a box. It's called Osa. It's got like a bear on it. I
Mhm.
love their branding too, but they make good coffee. I found them at a UNFI show, actually. It's like how I discovered it. They kept giving me shots of cold brew. Our booth was like next to theirs. That
Yeah.
was a terrible idea. Um, yeah, real fucked up by the end of the day. I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this. These guys are over there selling coffee. They're just drinking it. I'm like, you guys are all insane. Um, anyways, yeah, that brand, it has like a shelf life on it, but I kept some in my refrigerator for a while because it was open. You're supposed to refrigerate it, it's opened. And I poured it the other day because it had been in there for a while. Like I had like 6 boxes in there. Megan bought like a giant bulk pack for some reason.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It was like there was like goo inside of the box, and I don't know what it was from. No offense, Osa, if someone listens to this, I'm sorry. There was goo in the box, and I don't know what it was because I was like, on the back it just says coffee and water. I wonder what coffee and water does if you just sit it out for like a year, because that's what it was. It was like it was in my, who knows how long it was in the warehouse before I bought it, and then it was in my like pantry, and then it was like the last box that I refrigerated, and then suddenly it's like, yeah, dude, there's goo inside that thing. I just wonder what happens to coffee and water, because like you said, it's like, dude, I don't see why there should be shelf life. Like it's just
Yeah.
coffee and water. Could sit out for the rest of the time. I think,
Yeah.
or I'm wrong. I don't
Uh,
know.
I would say I don't know much about the box and what the box is lined with, but I can say
Oh,
like
Good point.
this is just, it's just
that's a
an
can.
open can. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
That makes a lot of sense, dude. That makes a lot of sense.
I
But
can
I just kind
imagine
of,
if you had boxed water versus canned water. I don't know. I feel like the can is just apocalypse ready.
Right.
can feels apocalypse ready. Yeah, if you're in the apocalypse, you're walking around with liquid death.
Right.
That's your drink of choice. You're like, dude, I've got a warehouse back there. It's got liquid death cans,
Right.
and it's got shit tons of coffee cans. And that's all
Exactly.
we're doing.
That's right.
Mhm.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool, man. Well, like, do you have a plan to like launch into retail when you first do it? Are you just gonna like go around to like local retailers, like the turnip truck and whatnot, and just like ask, like, hey, can I go on the shelf?
That's how we've been doing it so far. But one thing that's helped is just we've got a genuine story. So
Right.
it makes sense right now. Definitely not against going, to those retailers, but just our entry point has just been like you said earlier. We've just gone about it a different way. So,
Yeah.
eagerly looking forward to what that next phase can look like. I mean, we can definitely scale up and accommodate. So when I'm ready to make that jump, I want to be able to show up. I want to be able to sample and really do it. I don't want to just be on the shelf. I want it to move.
Right.
I want it to
Right.
Yeah.
resonate.
Sell-through is everything, man. It really is. I mean, Jimmy's been down that path before. Like the just getting on the shelf is really just the beginning, like in
Mhm.
the grocery space. And I think a lot of CPG brands ignore that. And then it's like off the shelf in like 6 months, and then they're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, either that or like, people like Shannon take their time, they
Oh
go
yeah,
in there, it
build the brand.
works. Like, and sometimes it's just retailer dependent, dude. Like I I sold myself this weird dream for a while where I was like, no baked is good. If we sample it and we put the effort into each individual retailer, it will be worth it because we will have sell through. And then eventually what I realized is like some retailers, one, don't care. They don't give a fuck who you are. They just want
Right.
slotting fees. And they want whatever it is they're after. And then some people care. And then some people are just lazy and they're just like, we're going to put products in here. We're not going to let you sample. We're just going to like basically assume like if it moves, it moves. If it doesn't, it doesn't, like whatever. And I was shocked by it at first. And then slowly over time, I've realized like a lot of the things that we want to do as founders, and I'm sure you want to do too, they just don't scale, which sucks. Like I wish I could sample at every store that my product is in. And it's physically impossible. Well, it's not physically impossible. It's financially impossible.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's like that's what would happen. Like if you get out there and you sampled your coffee in like I don't know, like all the Publixes in the Southeast, I'm sure it would move. Like there would be a movement. It would also cost like $150,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hilarious. But or actually it probably costs like $300,000. I'm underselling it. It's like $200 a store at least. And they got like 1,500 stores. But again, like at the same time, it's like you want to do those little things in the beginning. Like I love the story. I love what you're doing. Like that's cool. Have there been any like I guess like influencers or artists or anything like that if like wanted to partner with you that like have like reached out and been like, hey man, I love this coffee.
Yeah,
Like,
we've had
anything?
yeah. Haven't standardized or made a process of it as of yet, but definitely have a lot of folks in Nashville that are artists, singer-songwriters who've embraced it.
Who's the coolest person in your opinion that's tried it? Where like they tried it and they had it and you were like, shit, that's cool.
Let's think. We're getting ready to pop up in a few studios for some folks that you know, so I won't mention those yet. But I would say Willie Jones.
Nice.
He was on the Cowboy Carter album.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
cool. That's really cool.
He loves coffee, but let me tell you what he does like is canned products in general. So for him, it was even better for it to be in the can. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. That's dope.
Or maybe Sturgill Simpson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
A little too strong for him, Each can is 250 grams of caffeine. So if you drink the whole can, you're
wired.
Yeah, you're up.
Dude, that's what people don't realize about like the cold brew and like the flash froze coffee. It's like, dude, it's like a lot of caffeine. Like a shit ton.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way because it's also like, dude, it's coffee caffeine. At least you're not like killing yourself with the energy drink. Although I don't know the science behind the difference. Someone reach out and let me know. I don't actually know. I'm sure there's a reason why Alani Nu could kill you. I don't know what that reason is.
I tell you what else has been pretty cool though. Has been it's been embraced by athletes. So like on a local level, some of those fight leagues and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kickboxers, folks that are transitioning. In front of
Mike Chandler yet?
Not yet.
I was at Mike's house the other day giving him some cookie dough. So I mean, we should make that happen.
Coffee. Yeah, if he likes coffee, I mean, I've had folks, number 1 ranked Brazilian jiu-jitsu woman.
Nice.
She's a huge advocate of clean living. So for her, energy drinks are out of the question.
Yeah, right.
And for fighters, when they're getting close to that fight night, they're cutting out the Monster and Celsius. They're just going for something clean.
Interesting.
Yeah. And what you're selling is like totally clean. It's like, dude, water, coffee. Like, let's go. I never thought about that before. Like, if you're an athlete, man, I mean, that's way better than an energy drink.
It is, yeah. So you have like multiple market segments here that you're potentially targeting, right? You've got the artist creative segment, right? You have the specialty retailer, and then you potentially have like the athlete segment as well, which is always really interesting. Like with what's his Dan O'Hearn's doing with Defiance Fuel, like creating a water that's like specifically targeted to the athlete space, the gyms, the dojos, things like that. So yeah, I think there's really interesting that there may be some traction in that space as well. Like as you continue to like expand out and figure out where it fits.
I think it just speaks to the adaptability of it being in a can. So I mean, it's ready to go whenever you want. But also, that's going back to earlier on in the conversation. I mean, I didn't want to be boxed in.
Yeah.
Once I commit to going retail and I have to have 650 cases and ready to go every month, it changes the ability to do things that are fun. Like let's get some cases out to y'all to try. Let's just keep sharing. Let's keep growing it.
Yeah. That like slower, more predictable, or I hate to use predictable, slower, more sustainable growth path trajectory, right, is just a better way to do things. Like spending to grow in hindsight can really kill you if you're not careful. Like I think I've done it before. I think Jimmy's done it before. Every founder I know has spent to grow, and not most of the time they come to regret it at some level. Like it ends up just burning capital up and lighting it on fire.
Yeah. But I mean, also like the whole thing behind being an entrepreneur eventually is you got to be like kind of a degenerate gambler.
Totally.
Which is fine. I mean, that's good. Like you got to be like, hey man, like I'm gonna throw the chips down on this hand and we'll see what happens. And sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Shannon said, you want to be canned in, not boxed in.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, eventually you gotta send it, and it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So Shannon, are you from Nashville? Like was your family like always from here?
Yeah, I grew up here. My dad moved from LA here when he was younger, and my mom's from here. Yeah.
Nice.
Are y'all from here?
Oh yeah.
Daniel is, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Where are you from, Jimmy?
I am from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm actually from Akron.
LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron. And that's what I got. And no, I'm not moving back. And I'm happy I left.
Yeah.
Those LeBron. He's in LA.
Akron.
LeBron's not going back to Akron. He likes LA. So do I. Fucking cool. Akron was an interesting place to grow up. I would not recommend it. But it was it was fun. What part of town did you grow up in, Shannon?
I grew up on the south side of town. So
was it like how different was it like when you were growing up than it is now?
It's a lot different. And I think I try to hold on to what it used to be sometimes. I mean, I grew up going with this Chick-fil-A on 8th Avenue South that I go to now, but I remember when it was like a Crystal's.
Mm-hmm.
It's just small things like that. Like I remember when that development Melrose and Cinema, like that used to be not okay. So
not okay. Way of saying it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really cool to see it grow. I mean, you mentioned Akron. After I graduated high school, I didn't want to move back. I mean, Nashville wasn't what it was today back then. So
yeah,
I'm just super grateful to be able to move home, and our hometown is now just a place to be.
The fact that it's thriving is crazy like this. It's ridiculous.
I always like to ask people because I'm like, dude, like the idea of that to me is foreign, right? Like to watch the place where you were born like explode into this thing. Like y'all have seen the picture of the skyline like 2014 to 2024, like cool viral picture. Like, dude, that's so cool to see. I'm like, that must be the wildest shit to want to move back to where you're from because it is the place that is popping off. Because like if people are being real in like the United States, it's like, dude, it's like Austin, Nashville.
Yeah.
Not really much else. Like I mean the big cities have always been cool. But as far as like small places, like Nashville and Austin really like blew up, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know like what did it for Nashville either. Like I go back and forth. I'm like sometimes like maybe it was the music industry. We still don't have that much of an entrepreneurial community. It's not like Austin. Like Austin's had South by Southwest for like years. They've always had tech people there. Nashville.
I lived in Austin too. That's where I moved from.
So really?
Yeah. I went to school in Atlanta, then I went to Austin, worked in a tech space. That's how I got in there and moved back after 4 or 5 years.
Did you move back because it was too hot or because you missed home?
It was just the right time.
Yeah.
It was just the right time to move back. But I would say like I think Nashville and Austin are very similar, but they're also very different.
Yeah.
I think Nashville's headed in a direction. It's headed definitely like it's gonna. I think it's gonna be something awesome to see in the next few years,
Yeah.
especially as they finish the stadium and bring Oracle and clean that river up. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I remember as a kid taking the General Jackson down that river. It was like orange colored with foam on it, man. Like it was bad. So they have made really good progress cleaning up that river.
Yeah.
It's not there yet, but man, it's not orange anymore and it's not foamy. Like they called it Cumberland Punch, you know? Yeah, that stuff was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kayaked in the river the last couple of years because I lived in the East. For like this, like they do like a triathlon in Shelby Park, and instead of swimming, they have you kayak. And I was like, it's not that, it's not that bad, not anymore.
Right. Not anymore.
Um,
Yeah.
but they kind of ignore it in Nashville compared to Austin. Like Austin loves the river.
Yep.
We just
Yeah.
kind of like ignore ours, which is weird.
Yeah.
Really, really strange.
Yeah. I think the
Um,
plan is to eventually like develop around it because it needs to happen.
Eventually, dude. So
Yeah.
Shannon, do you, because you were like in Austin for a while, have you sold the product to anyone in Austin or like pushed it out there at all?
No, I mean I've got some friends down there that've got some stores and some businesses. They want to get into uh more grab and go at their restaurants.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll be sending some cases down there to get that conversation going again. The one hiccup I'm having right now is just as much as I do want these cases to be on shelves across the country, is just making sure I'm super just pay attention to that shipping. You know, cases of 12. Once we get over 3, 4, 5 plus, it gets a little costly. So
It's
actively trying to
expensive.
find a way to keep that, yeah. And I want to be able to keep it affordable, not for myself, but I want those folks to be able to turn around and mark it up and win too.
Yeah, and actually sell it. Yeah, I mean, like
Mhm.
shipping cans is expensive.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense, dude. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who are like Austin is the CPG capital of the world, and I'm like, maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hard to like say that there's like a like CPG capital of the world. There's like a couple hot spots in the United States. There's like LA, Boulder, Austin. Nashville is not a hot spot. Well, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is because of me. I'm gonna make it a hot spot.
That's right. We're
You guys
growing
would
it.
be surprised. There are a lot of really cool founders that live in Nashville.
That's true.
Megan and I had a CPG networking group for a while, which I'm gonna reactivate at some point. In the
I think
next
that'd
2
be
months.
awesome.
And
That'd be awesome.
we had it going for like a year and a half. It was cool. Megan co-founded it with Trinity Wiles. She has like a women's like motorcycle like gear brand, like apparel brand. Super cool. But like, yeah, we stopped exercising the muscle. But when I was doing that, I found out that there's like a lot of like 8, 9 figure founders like living in Nashville that I didn't know lived here.
Yeah.
They didn't come to my networking group. They were too busy. But at the same time, like I've met a lot of them and I'm like, that's so weird that y'all live here and nobody knows. No one
But some of
recognizes
that-
it as a place that does that.
Some of that is the culture of the city. You know, like I think a lot of folks candidly move from their city wondering why we're not louder. And
Yeah.
we've had musicians here that won Grammys and Emmys.
Dude, yeah.
and
My
it's something that
my kids in East went to school with like multiple Grammy winning like musicians kids.
It's
Like in the
just-
same
it's
class.
it's just not the culture of the city. You know, everybody, it doesn't necessarily share out what they're doing, which isn't
Right.
bad. But I would say if you got the group, I'd say in this new era and season of Nashville, you know, let's help these folks get comfortable amplifying what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
I feel like amplifying like what we're doing as a city. I mean, even though I'm not living there full time anymore, like I still have my house in East. Still back a lot. Megan's still an entrepreneur in residence in Belmont. Like I want to see Nashville like really like share with the world that like it's doing cool stuff. Cause like, man, I mean, this sounds cliche and stupid. And maybe some people think it's silly, but it's like there is actually no other city I have been to in the world. And I've met some other people that have traveled way more than me. It's like not another city in the world can you go to a place like Broadway
Yeah, that's the truth.
that exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't actually exist anywhere else. Not even
Yes.
not even close.
Yeah.
Like I've been to like where's the closest comparison like in my mind would be Daniel, what's that place in Dublin? Son of a
Oh,
bitch.
yeah. I can't remember, but yeah, that's a great example. Yeah. It's
There's a part of the city in Dublin that's like bars,
yeah,
music, live music.
it
And like Dublin
feels
doesn't really
similar.
turn off. Similar, not the same.
Not the same.
Not even close, man. I mean, like the amount of humans and like the amount of stuff going on
Every day.
it's just shocking.
Every
man.
day.
Yeah,
Every single day.
Every day.
And it's going and it's going. And like you said, like they're gonna get the stadium open. They built the extra music venues downtown. Like Ascend has been like, I mean, in my opinion, like really, really important. Getting more and more like stuff happening down there. But when you get this like flywheel of just like, I've gone to a lot of other cities. You know, you'll go to places like I'm on this road trip right now, and I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I was like, Sioux Falls is such a beautiful city. Like it's town, it's small, very small, but it was like, underrated. I was like, it seems like a cool
Mhm.
place. Or
Mhm.
like I was visiting my brother. He lives in Richmond, Virginia. He works for like a fintech company in DC. They have an office in Richmond. He decided to move to Richmond. He was like, it's really nice. I go to Richmond and I was like, dude, Richmond's awesome. Like actually really, really nice city. Super cool, like culture, like it's like southern vibes, like the row houses and stuff, like downtown. Like they haven't gotten rid of any of it. Really cool city. No one's really moving there like they're moving to Nashville. And I realized one day, like Broadway being the way it is has allowed us to like
Yeah.
market the city.
Yep.
To like everyone. Like, because most people are like, oh yeah, I'll visit Nashville because they've heard the stories and they'll go and they'll be like, holy shit, this is wild.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
they don't know is like, I don't want to go down there. I haven't been down there God knows how long, but like the rest of the city is also awesome. There's so much culture and so many cool things, but it's like you're able to capture this like top of funnel market.
Yeah.
Like we'll have like 20 million people visit Nashville next year, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's like that, dude. That's like almost 10 times the It's over 10 times the population of the city.
Yeah.
I think
It's crazy.
I saw where they said Nashville at the second highest hotel bed count outside of New York.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it's not stopping. It's not stopping.
No. And because all the businesses I have in Nashville like participate in tourism, like I've felt the like financial benefits of it, but it's also like wild to see. Like you put a car on Turo and you'll be like, I've had friends that like done it in other cities, like, yeah, it's okay. Like I throw up a car on Turo and like suddenly a Tesla Model 3 is like printing money. Like what was happening?
Yeah.
Like this is crazy, but there's so many people coming here. Like this, literally impossible not to lose, which is crazy because it's actually not like that was like on accident. It's not like there's no work put into it. It's like the body of work built by like the collective like citizens and like the government, everyone else in Nashville was like, we're gonna make it a cool place to visit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly everyone benefited from it, which is sweet. But I'd like us to shout more to the rooftops that like, hey, we're more than Broadway.
Yeah.
Like, because if people come here and they know of us for one reason, it'd be cool that they're like, oh wait, there's reasons to like move and stay.
Yeah.
Like one of my little cousins just moved down to work at Oracle. To your point, Shannon, like that's a big deal. Like I think it's gonna be cool for the city. All right, guys. Well, I think we're kind of running up on time.
We're
I don't want to
up
go
against
over
the
it
end.
again. At least this time we're not in like. Usually we record at Switchyards.
Yeah,
that's somewhere that should be carrying his cans.
Yeah,
Switchyards should have the cans. But yeah, we record at Switchyards and those like sound booths, and every single time someone will come like tap on the window.
The end of the episode.
Son of a bitch, man. Let me out. Well, Shannon, thanks for coming on our podcast.
Thanks, Shannon. This was fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Weird conversation with us. I'd love to, dude. I'd love to support however I can. When I get to Bozeman, I'm gonna buy some cans. But dude, thank you for coming on and telling your story.
Thanks,
Hopefully,
Shannon.
people after this will go find it. I would like you now to tell people where to find you,
Yes.
where to find cans, all that stuff.
Yeah. The website, www.capecoast.co. We're also on Amazon at Cape Coast Co. as well. If you're in the city, we're at Savvy Market. We're at One City. We're going to be we're at Juice Farm. We're going to be talking and pitching to Turnip Truck. So we're everywhere. But at the end of the day, you can order and I can drop it off. You can pick it up from me. But I want to thank you all both for having me on.
Yeah.
Not only to talk about myself, but it was a pleasure learning about y'all. I want to be able to be a resource for y'all too. So
Yeah, man.
any way that I can help, please allow me to do so for you all too.
Absolutely, Shannon. It was a pleasure meeting you
For
as well.
sure,
This is
dude.
fun.
Awesome. Stop the recording.